Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the RNG Endgame, a podcast about the game Marvel Strike Force. Your hosts are Frid and Creative. We're leaders in an alliance from a large cluster, and would like to share our insights with you to hopefully improve your gameplay and overall experience, and give you a little entertainment. All right, Frid. Episode 50. Oh my goodness, we've almost been doing this for a year. So we're going to start off with listener questions and comments. There's been a lot of things posted in Discord. I apologize to our listeners that we haven't gotten to some of these. A lot of times we have members of the Alliance family just kind of answer them right away. But in some cases, I do want to call them out just because I think it's good information for our broader audience. So first one is Dante9. He says he pulled a 7 red star kitty. Congratulations, sir.
Wow.
Which is great, but I only have 4 yellow stars from Blitz. However, she does not seem like a character that really benefits from a lot of high red stars, more of a kit character. I have 4 red on Iceman, and he's waiting for the Blitz, and 5 red on Beast, but only 4 yellow stars, because Beast is still not farmable. We'll talk about that. And he will get a yellow, a 5 yellow star Jubilee. And probably a 4 yellow star Bishop because it's a yet another Blitz. And he says, should I focus on this team? And so, Frid, you and I had this conversation earlier in the week, and I thought it was a good one. And so we're focused, we're in-game players. And I didn't know Dante's situation, so I asked him a few questions to follow up. And I said, are you an in-game player? Are you doing Ultimate 7 difficulty tiers? Are you doing raid difficulty tiers? And his answer was yes. And I said, are you, a heavy spender or free to play? And he said he's free to play. And so I said, well, then this is an easy answer for you. And the answer is you should not be focusing on this team. You should probably focus on other mutants like the X-Force, or we talked about it the other week, the Brotherhood. Those teams, you can already get to the highest yellow stars, are pretty darn high up there. And, they're farmable. And so that you can not only get their gear up, but you can also get their stars up. And you can make them where you need to make them so that you can use them in wars. You can use them in some of the raids. And so that's the biggest problem we talked about with the, I'm going to call them the Axemen, the Astonishing X-Men or Axemen, is that we're going to get them at low yellow stars, and they're not going to be farmable for who knows how long. So there's no way we can use them in Ultima 7 or some of the Greek raid difficulties, and certainly you can't use them in what they're intended to use them for, the Doom raid. So we talked about this. We said, what are we going to use our mutant mats on? And Frid, our decision was to get our Brotherhood higher because they're the counter to almost everything, and ours need to be bigger so that we can use them in war. Any kind of commentary you want to add there?
Yeah, I think it was an eye-opening thing that we seeing footage, or just the general question is, what's good against this? And it's generally Brotherhood. It's like the default answer. And it being such an older team require, to unlock Magneto. And it's just solid all around. And I'm surprised that it still performs so well as a big offensive blow-up team. So if you're in the end game, you're much better served by spending more on getting a bigger Brotherhood. It'll be great in war, especially to kill some of those mid to big teams, rather than, it's going to take months to get stars on these Axemen unless you're spending money. So, you could take it more easy. And for what they're intended, like you said, it's going to take forever. So Brotherhood gives you a bigger bang for the buck in terms of Blitz and war.
Excellent. So, I haven't looked just because we had this decision. I haven't even looked. What are the uniques for the X-Men? I think you were telling me you looked that up.
Oh, yeah. So somewhere I ran across it and started getting increasingly angry as I went through the list for some reason. So start with Iceman, and he needs astral energy. So
that's good. We've got a ton of those.
Yeah, because, we got a bunch, and Phoenix, we've already kind of done with her, although I need 25 in reserve. And I think the other one that I know is Psylocke and America Chavez, so it's not that useful. Then Bishop uses Judas bullets. Now that is who uses that? Is it Merc
That's
Lieutenant or
either Hydra or AIM. I forget which one. I think it's Hydra. Several of
and
those and Domino.
Domino? They brought that in, which is good because that was a one that not many people use. I remember when you used to get them, you're like, that
Right.
sucks.
Yep.
Kitty Pryde uses Miasma, which is the one that Hela and Ghost Rider. So that I don't even know. Isn't that more mystic? Like what's going on here?
Yeah, that's strange.
Well, and then we had Beast and Jubilee sharing Luminium, which is the one that uses Call of City, and that's the one that I was like, crap. That is a pain.
And I think one of the Pimtex, and then Mysterio.
It's gonna take a lifetime to get that going. So I'm assuming we would prioritize Jubilee, and then Beast will just have to sit there and wait. So anyway, if you're thinking about this team, go ahead and get some Luminium going because you're gonna need them.
Jeez, 2 for 1 team. That's crazy. I don't think we've seen that before. I'll have to think about that. Okay. Yeah. What are some other?
Well, the one is the Asgardians. There's a bunch of Uru.
Yeah, that, and of course the symbiotes. That's the most annoying.
Oh gosh, the alien spores.
Yeah. So
don't remind me. I need so many of those still.
Okay. So that was a question I thought that was just a really good debate that we had that we'd share with our audience. And we'll get into this a little bit more. I think people are finally starting to hear that same message. We've been saying it forever, that just the release cadence is poor. Another question was from Ironside, and he said, other than She-Hulk and Ultron, are there any viable replacements for Namor for a strong Fantastic Four offensive team? And Debuts, I think his name, or D-Dubs, 420, came in and said, no, you definitely do not take Namor out. And that is 100% the case. You either take out Thing or Torch. The reason is Namor is the original war god. He is and was still the one-trick pony of being awesome in war and not so great everywhere else. We even talked about his passive, how ridiculous his passive is. So, his single move, his ult, where he slows everybody down and clears the buffs out, that can win for a lot of teams. So you definitely keep him in there. So, definitely good chiming in from other contributors in the Discord. And then I am terrible at pronouncing names, so I'm just going to apologize. Halcyon, I think, or Halcyon Days asked, I have a question. As a solidly stuck in the mid-game grind player, I have a minute, really meaning forever, until I get Ebony Maw. Because for those that don't remember, you have to first get the Asgardians, then you get Black Bolt, then you get the Inhumans, and then you finally get Ebony Maw. But as Black Bolt is all the rage and will continue to be for the foreseeable future, can you suggest a somewhat suitable replacement for now? So, first and foremost... You mean
Black Order, not Black Bolt. Sorry,
yeah, my bad. Sorry, Black Order. So as Black Order is all the rage. So thank you for that correction. Saves me some editing time later. So first and foremost, he's a legendary character. And he has synergies with the team. So you are not going to get an easy replacement. But Frid, my comment was Phoenix and Black Bolt can be plugged into any team and they're good. And I certainly have run Black Bolt with the Black Order in PvP. And then Invisible Woman and Shuri are more similar kits of sorts in that they provide defense up and can do some controlling type things. Maybe Invisible Woman more so. But there probably isn't a great replacement. I would probably direct him more to some of these kind of legendary soup teams that we're seeing out there, where you bring in a bunch of strong characters, you throw in a couple legendaries, and it works. What do you think?
Yeah, the other thing you see is like big Emma Frosts, big Sinisters, that kind of team. But yeah, Ebony is just unique in what he enables the Black Order to do, and even by himself. I use him in raids because of nobody does what he does, right? That kind of offense down, defense up thing. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
All in one move. So, yeah, I think you're right on the legendary soup thing. Just an Emma, a Mr. Sinister with a Phoenix and a Black Bolt, and maybe some kind of tank, Colossus, Strife, something like that, while you can unlock him.
Yep,
So
yep.
good luck getting all the. What did you need for Ebony?
Asgardians to then get Black Bolt, and Black Bolt, and
Yes.
then humans to then finally
Oof.
get Ebony Maw.
Oof, oof,
Still the
oof.
only legendary that is unlocked by a legendary to date. So
Maybe Doc Ock, if that's well. What do you need for Doc Ock? X Force.
X
Well,
Force, yeah. So
yeah, that's another one you could throw in, but
so
it's
basically,
tough.
we're telling you to use legendary characters. Just a complete sidebar. Now that the covert ops thing is finally gone, thankfully, and we get to do Greek raid like we normally do, I got to find. I haven't been using Black Bolt that much. I only use them on like select U7 nodes, but I got to use them in a bunch of the bio nodes. Man, I miss playing with that guy every day. Oh, he is just phenomenal. And every once in a while, I'll throw him in with the symbiotes, and they just get him low. He says bye bye. I just miss Black Bolt. I wish we could use him more.
I know how he kind of fallen. I still use him in the Ultima 7, so I enjoy him there. But
Yeah,
yes, not the same domination than he used to provide.
I know. He's just too slow in this ever so fast world. So
Well,
anyway, so I thought we would share those three questions. I think those were some good ones. As always, reach out. I know there's more. I just didn't get to all of them, but feel free to ping us in Discord. And so with that, we'll switch gears to the best part of the show, apparently, otherwise known as gearing and leveling, or review Fred's roster.
yes, and last week of Emma's spending, at long last, the last few shards, spending as much as I could. I was doing 2.4 consistently throughout this round. But you get to the bottom of the barrel, at least for me. There are some level 80s that I need to do, but I was holding back because it's gonna be months until I get those tier 15 materials that I need. So I was just rounding out some characters, and I got to the Night Nurse to 7 stars finally, and level her up a little bit more, but nothing too exciting. So just kind of some of that stuff. I also um, put 2 of these characters very close to the parking lot, and those are the astonishing X-Men, because the game seems to be telling me that this is the way I need to go. I now possess 5 red stars on Beast, Kitty Pryde, and Iceman, and Bishop is 4. So out of the gate, there's a lot of red stars with the astonishing X-Men. So we just told you, don't worry about this team. And here I am, the game telling me, hey, worry about me. No, I'll still put him at the parking lot. I won't get too hyped up and overinvest. And then if and when it's time to pull the trigger, at least I have all these stars ready to go. I will get them to 5 at a very high core expenditure, because I have a feeling they're going to pull the legendary with these guys. I don't know. Maybe that's not correct, but these are all new characters and a legendary in there, and I think they're ready to do the second one of these. But so I'll like a little bit of an insurance policy there and get the 5 stars on them.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week of the partner or kind of protector to a legendary is always a hard farm. Mm-hmm. Going way back to Juggernaut and Magneto, to Yo-Yo and Black Bolt, Colossus and Phoenix, and now Ebony Maw and Thanos. So we suspect Bishop is going to get it. We call it the Colossus treatment. And so that's why we're going to be spending extra cores on the Blitz Orbs and hopefully getting him a little higher.
And both of these, Iceman and him, are 100 unlock, which is a lot for people trying to get him, but you got to blitz a lot here. So I alluded to not over investing because I feel so disappointed because I over invested, I feel like, on the Skilletary team. And I have a final ruling created. Are you ready for my verdict?
Oh, I already know it, but I don't know if our listeners do.
What did I call it? The worst team in the game?
Yep.
They don't work in Blitz. They don't work in War. So it's a very disappointing. Red Guardian has its use. I'm actually trying it in a different team just to see because the other four are really not that great. You have to put in multiple T4s and get them high enough. Part of the problem is they said these were counters to some of the biggest meta teams, and obviously they're outsized by a lot by those teams, right? Marauders that has been invested in against a new skilletary. I mean, but even in Blitz, like I feel I took two of these characters to tier 13, and I thought that would be enough, but it's not. They lose consistently at 8.3. So don't like them. I think it was a trap, and I wonder if they'll ever live to their potential or they're Wakandan 2.0. That's what it feels like right now,
Well,
unfortunately.
and we'll talk a little more about this. I mean, we've had several teams come out as flops
I mean, it
lately.
was the one thing that they were supposed to do, and I literally have not won once in war with this team.
I don't know if you've killed anyone with the team. Like you haven't even
Like
taken out one of their,
there
you
was
know.
a Doc Og that was they had three versus my full team, and didn't even take out anybody. I
Yeah,
mean, it was,
yeah,
and it was a punch down of like 200K. It is a disaster. Now
yeah.
Doc Og is a different monster, but and
It,
I may be doing something wrong, I'm sure, but also it shouldn't be this bad. And
no, no, no. Yeah, and so I'll get into it a little bit later on. But the quick preview is two things. One is Scopely is notorious for testing with leveled characters, so they're all 7 yellow stars and 4 red stars, so they're all even. And that's never the case in how the real world of playing the game. And then and so they show us these videos of even teams outside of war. They're not in war, winning, and they just don't live up to that. And so there's been a lot of backlash on this particular team for sure. All
yeah,
right,
so
anything else here?
yeah, no, that's pretty straightforward. Nothing too exciting. Now back to the lazy days of not spending, which gives me a breather while I plan and accumulate for the next moves. You know, in my planner, I still have like, 25 million of spending. So I'll be fine. I know what I need to do, but I'll pace myself a little bit more. I did say I wanted to go to 1.5 million, but I haven't been doing it. Just a little recovery here from all that spending. Uh,
Gotcha. Okay.
how about your roster? What do you got?
Well, so you have, as usual, figured out some cool stuff with Mantis, and so not only are we using the War tab to get our war stats and to see our opponents, who's attacking, who's not, and all that kind of stuff, you have figured out how to collect the profile data from Mantis automatically. So we're now using that to do our monthly metrics, which I thought was awesome. It was a really cool job that you did, and just again, kudos to the Mantis team. Awesome stuff. The Zero Tools guys continue to do fantastic work. If you're not aware of them, go check out their Discord. Go check out their stuff. But where I'm going with this,
I'll
yeah,
add a plug,
yeah.
creative, and that is that they just released the version for the Mac. So if that was holding you back, let's say you're an Apple user, you play on BlueStacks, and you're like, "Oh, that stupid Mantis doesn't exist for Apple." One of the guys, oh, I don't have his name in front of me, has actually taken up on himself to develop it, and I actually tried it today, and it works like a champ. So definitely go check that out if you're on the Mac now, because I'm telling you, you will do your alliance a lot of good if you can upload this information to msf.gg for war, for raids, for everything, and it just works seamlessly. So kudos to those guys. I can't say enough about them. I hope they get to work with Scopely, right, on the
Hopefully,
API.
hopefully,
Hopefully,
yeah.
yep.
So anyway, that again, great work by the Zero Tools folks. Where I was going with that is you published our monthly metrics on beginning of February, and I shattered all sorts of records. I grew over 900,000 collection power in 1 month alone. So this clearly shows the power of being able to spend And again, I'll make a plug. Scopely, please get away from this mechanic of limiting our spending and forcing us into spending and forcing us into saving. It's terrible. So anyway, I've had a fantastic and wonderful month, to say the least. I have leveled up everything and anything that I wanted to do. There's still always more to do, but I got to do so much stuff. And so that was a fantastic experience. Of course, around a non-milestone character month, we're doing about 400 or so. So that's more than double what I normally do, and now I'm back to, lazy days. I still have plenty of gear. I still have plenty of gold, but I am broke as it relates to training mats. So it's, I'll continue to make the plug. It's well past time for us to have a training mat flash event, increasing the training mat rewards from the daily objectives, adding training mats to the ISO 8 campaign, giving us more training mats via the challenge. So I don't understand, Frid, how you have 30,000 freaking T2 equivalents, and I think today I have maybe 1,000 because of the week stuff. I just don't understand how we are so far apart.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. You think it's the few months of extra, or maybe I'm not upgrading enough? I don't know.
Well, I do know that you've always had more cores than me. I'm typically in the 10 to 20 range of arena, now in the 10 range, and you've been in the top 5. So you've always had more cores, and you've always spent more on the campaign events and extra nodes and extra farming. So certainly, if you do that every day, you're going to get more. It's just that feels like a lot more than just that activity. So I don't know. We've got to figure something out because I'm broke, and of course I hear it from everybody. Training mats are yet one of the many constraints that they are facing.
You ever done 100 refreshes or no? Never.
Almost never.
Okay. I mean, you need to start looking at that hard, because that is one way to increase your training mats.
And what Frid is referring to, just in case you didn't follow that, is you do your 4 energy refreshes for the 50 cores each. And then after that, it goes up to 100 cores for the same 120 energy. And so if you do that, you're not as efficient, but it's still yet more materials that you could get. So, I am just kind of taking a breather from all that crazy activity. And then my plan is to get several of my teams a little bit higher. It feels like our opponents have always gotten 10, 15, 20, now 50K higher on some of the different teams. And so I'm struggling a little bit in war. So I need to get a few of those key war teams up. And then I need to get some of the key meta players. I need to get Zemo a little higher and some other stuff. So it'll be rounding out some teams that need some love is what I'll focus on next. And then I've been very, very lazy as it comes to ISO 8. So a lot of key teams, I have them at 3. But I need to get that through all of my teams. I need to get some of the key teams up to 4. So I have a lot of work to do there. I've just been incredibly lazy on that front. So I could have had even higher collection power growth if I had focused there.
Oh, look at you. A million wasn't enough.
It's not enough. Yeah. I closed the gap. There's only 1 million difference between Frid and I. I told him I was going to catch him, so it's got to happen.
This was your chance. I was a little less than that.
Yeah,
as you know.
I know. Mm-hmm. Well, so that's enough for gearing and leveling. Let's switch over to the bug report. And boy, did we have an interesting week.
Oh my goodness, yes. What a crazy, the calendar guy, whoever's running the event, whatever that's called, was just on vacation or was drinking heavily. Something happened because there were events that were not ending as scheduled. So the covert ops, our favorite of all of these, that's the one using the military characters. It was supposed to end. The event indicated that it ended, but the milestone was alive and kicking for another extra day. So you got to do this milestone one more time, and you wouldn't even get an orb or anything out of it.
That's hilarious.
Because it was like partial orbs, so it was like insult to injury. But not sure what happened there. Then we had blitzes that started late, blitzes that were doubled, and blitzes that started early. What is going on? So the Which one was it? Was it Kitty? The second Kitty that started late?
Yes, actually, almost all of the blitzes on Thursday nights, and then the red and blue star orbs, the two previous weeks, have all started like at least 15 to 20 minutes late.
And ended late too, and OMG was mad because he missed the cycle and he couldn't get top 100 because of this, and he could have. It was kind of interesting. And we had for the first time ever, I think, a double.
Yes.
So Miles was running, and the next day Miles started again. Not
Yeah.
like restart the one that was there, like a second one, identical, that you could run again. And I think I did and got all the stuff
I know
from
I got
that
at
one.
least to like almost the top. I'm not sure if I got all the way.
And if it wasn't enough, the next day, Iceman fired off a whole day early. This was Wednesday, right?
Yep.
And I didn't get in on this one, did you?
No, I saw the message and I was in the middle of like a arena battle or something, and then by the time I got over, it was gone.
I was like, it's my day off, no need to worry. So I didn't look. We were hanging out with the family, and then I see the message. Oh, come on. I would have gotten to 21 because I can get to 750 pretty quickly. But anyway, how is this still happening? I mean, this is the one thing that they know how to do, right?
The Blitz. Thought they knew how to do.
Because this is their favorite way to release characters. I just don't get it. Very strange.
We've heard about Decimal Jeff and how he screws up offers. I think they've got another guy they hired. Calendar Carl is just, he's having some troubles. He's the new guy, and he doesn't know how the jobs work. I just don't know. Calendar Carl needs some help. So that was a strange week. And then, I think, we talked about it maybe last week that Ghost was just not showing up in the War Store. There were people very, very frustrated. They were refreshing, and Ghost was never showing up. And so we gave you the odds. Instead of, say, 23%, it was like down to a 7% set of odds. So we did get the rewards for that. It was equivalent of 11 shards. I think it was 6 shards plus enough for one purchase. And those that actually refreshed the store during the period got a few more. But I don't understand how they can screw this up. I mean, adding a character to a store is something they've done over and over and over. And then screwing this up in the weeks leading up to a legendary event, oh my gosh. I mean, what is going on? This just feels really shady too.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, okay. Well, I mean, free shards, but yeah. I at least in this case, I'm not as mad because I wasn't going after her. But if I was, I would be really mad. And if that's all I got, I'd be pretty upset. If you really needed her. But it's very. Maybe they were planning on doing that at some point. Yep. This character will only appear in one panel. That was part of what they wanted to do in the future. I'm not sure. So we so there was that compensation, but they, this Iceman thing, I know some people got extra shards, right? If you were there at the time.
I know several people that got the full set of milestones.
I haven't seen compensation for that yet, but they should, right? Because
the response was that they are reviewing it with the team.
We're going to try to figure out who got it and do all that, or just give the community a few shards. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, we've talked about this. The amount of time and energy that they spent trying to do these special packages and screwing it up. Yeah. They're not going to give everybody 21 shards of Iceman. They're not going to give us all the Blitz rewards. But it feels like it needs to be at least 10 to 15.
They'll throw 5, I bet you.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going high here and be disappointed. 15.
It's 5. So what else, Creative? There was something with PvP that took place.
Yeah, so I've done a little bit of testing. I haven't seen it all. But so there was this, it was talked about over a month ago, it feels like, that PvP has a bunch of issues, and one of them was you get matched up against a terrible team, you quit, or your opponent quits, and then, you don't get the rewards or you don't get the objectives, and all these things happen. So what they were going to do was the AI would take over if one side of the coin quit. Well, it turns out that they didn't test this at all. And so I haven't seen all of this. I'm just kind of summarizing what I think I've seen. And what I saw was a player will quit, but the game's not sure if the game crashed or what. So it'll give the player that left the full timer, particularly if it's right in the beginning. So the opponent that's still there has to wait for the full 160 seconds. And,
God.
and then there was like an elongated wait between the attacks. So it turns out like a match was 7 minutes or something crazy. And then what I did is I went ahead and intentionally quit right away. And I don't know if there was an issue at the time. I haven't tried it since. I'll do it. But I quit, and then I couldn't get back in a match. It was like penalizing me for quitting. It kept saying there was an error. We can't get in. So I timed it, and I was about 2 minutes or so, and then finally I can get in a match. So I wonder if they have locked me out from starting a new match when my team has been taken over by the AI. Again, I don't know if that's the experience of everybody. I just tested out by quitting, and I couldn't get back in. So there is a bunch of people that are saying, just get rid of these changes. They were supposed to be good. They clearly didn't test them. So people are already upset about PvP, and this is just throwing gas on the fire.
Yeah, and didn't this lead to a couple of content creators putting out rant videos about this particular one? Like,
oh yeah,
they were like, the testing was a disaster. Like, it took me 2 matches to figure this out. Like, how they just think the people that code and test don't play the game like you normally play, right?
No, I can tell you exactly what the problem is. They offshore their testing, and the offshore testers, and I have no issues with offshoring. I work with people that do that, and they're awesome. They're a hell of a lot better than I am at certain things. But their testers are an outsourced group, and they get a test script, and they says log into the game, number 1. Number 2, go play a PvP match and do this. And that they follow the script exactly. And they say, yep, it passed. And they don't actually really like investigate and do things. I think their testers are a little too much by the book of reading the test scenario instead of actually trying to play the game and doing some real use cases. So anyway.
Yeah, they need like some former players, community, or a test server, something to squash this stuff before it comes out. I don't know.
Well, there was a bunch of people kind of saying, what's the smoothest thing that we've had come out? ISO 8. And that, you know what they did? They had 2 betas with the emissaries or whatever they're called.
Envoys.
Envoys. And so that was the smoothest thing that came out. And you think about it, like the first iteration was horrific.
That's a disaster. If they came out with that, it was going to be
and the second version still needed tweaks. And so we got version 3. And so, there's commentary about just put a beta server out there. Let the envoys, let other people go test. They would love to see we would love to go see a character at 7 yellow stars 7 yellow stars and 5 red stars or 4 red stars. We'd love to see that character and decide if we actually want to level it up first. Mm-hmm. I mean, so maybe they're thinking about it that way. But there's definitely an ongoing chatter about test your stuff, Scopely. Okay. Well, so those were some of the bug report items. As always, if you find anything else of interest, please do stop by Discord, ping us, let us know. And with that, we're going to switch to the news.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
And it is clear that Scopely listens to the show. I mean, we've had example after example after example. Last week we talked about the X-Men. We kept saying this team just has some glaring issues beyond the fact that they're not going to be farmable. And the biggest one we called out was there's no cleanse. How many successful raid teams do you have that don't have a cleanse? The answer is not many. Next thing you know, Beast gets a rework, and he's got a cleanse for the whole team. So, and it's on a short 3-turn cooldown. Plus, he gets energy from Jubilee. So that team continues to look good. But I thought that was hilarious, Fred.
Poor Beast. I mean, he was kind of alone for a very long time, right? He was the only guy part of this team. Seems to not be selling well. It's our theory, right? They give 5 red stars to everybody. I mean, what's going on with Beast? He's such a good character in the comics and the movies and everything. I don't get it. Maybe this is justice for Beast.
Justice for Beast. Let's start a new hashtag.
Finally, get this day in the sun. Doom Raid domination in a year from now when we can do that. What else? What else? What else we got? DD4. So that has completed, as we know. When did this happen?
It was
Wasn't it
2 months
ago?
ago.
Yeah. And the name, what's the name? Watch
Reminick Shake It. Instead of the real name, Scopely Fixed Prices.
Yeah, they wouldn't let that one fly.
That's why we're so delayed.
I think they came out with a technicality that it was the name when he started, even though the majority of the time he was Scopely Fixed Prices at the top of the leaderboard, which is kind of funny. One thing that they came out, one thing that happened is he put out a poll, right? And wanted the community to decide the 100 shards that he was going to give out. And I think it was the front runners were Call Obsidian and Ghost. And I believe Call Obsidian won that popular vote.
Yep.
However, the Scopely's doing something a little bit different and unique, and that is that instead of giving you 100 shards of one or the other, they're giving us fragments to a special orb over a 14-day calendar, and you use that to open. How many is it? 25?
Yeah, it's 25 from each orb. So you get 4
25
choices.
A time.
Yeah.
And you can spend them however you want. You go on all ghost, you do that. You want to do some coal and some ghost, you can do that, or you can do all Call Obsidian. I think this is an elegant solution, right? To give choice of the two most popular ones per the community. Do you think that's a good way to go?
Absolutely. This reminds me of, was it Legions of Cabal and Pants of Hulk both winning? Use 7 and you get to choose kind of the orb that you want. Mm-hmm. I think this is excellent. I mean, this is a win-win. Absolutely.
Yep. So good job there on providing this flexibility. Unfortunately, there's one thing, as always, and if you were looking or were counting on Ghost being the one that you go for and getting your 100 shards to be able to be ready for the Jubilee event, it's not going to happen because the calendar runs beyond the Jubilee event. So you can't collect all 100 shards. I think they said 75.
Yeah, you'll get 75.
This is a little strange, right? Why would you configure this that way? I'm telling you, somebody did the math. They're like, all right, if we do this, that's how the
first we're going to screw up the store so they can't get it. Next, we're not going to give them all the 100 shards. Guaranteed.
Well, second, we're going to change the date.
Yes,
when it was supposed to be earlier. Like, the whole team's not even kind of available. Anyway, very strange. The numbers guy, again, I think he made a mistake, and they're trying to clean up for it to make sure they can sell the most of these offers or get us to spend the cores. So, very strange there. Any other comments on that?
No, but I like the flexibility. I'm going to open 2 of Cole and get him to 6, and then the rest is Ghost. So this is awesome for me.
Yeah, my Cole is already 6, so I think I'm going all the way Ghost to try to get her to 6. She won't get there, but at least make a good dent on it. And then whenever I finish DD4, I'll worry about buying her.
Could be into farm characters from the War Store. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. We had a blog post this week, and I know we don't want to spend too much time on this show on it, but there were a few highlights. One is they finally announced how Beast was going to be more available to us, and that is the PvP character. So Mojo's Mayhem. Doesn't it take forever to get the shards? At least 2 weeks, right?
Oh yeah. It's all spread out, so it's going to be at least 2 weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that you can get some more Beast. I already have him at 5 somehow. I don't even know how. I think I got him from Ultima's Orbs or somewhere, but I don't know why. How long ago did Beast come out?
July.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be a year. Not farmable still. I don't understand. He's such an old character. Again, no justice for Beast. Back to...
Hashtag justice for Beast.
Come on, man. It's an iconic character of that show. Like when I started watching it with my daughter, she really enjoyed Beast. So So educated, always with his philosophical sayings and quoting books and stuff. But come on, let's get Beast farmable already. Everybody thought it was going to be the raid store. Not so fast. Locked in D, Mojo's Mayhem. Mayhem. All right. What else was announced? We're getting another war team. Is it just war or is it offense or defense? Do you know this?
It just says war. It doesn't have those.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. All right, so there was speculation here. There was people on the Discord actually talking about what are they going to do? Are they going to make... Because these characters have been rumored. Like, are they going to rework the defenders? Is it the hand? Neither. They are coming out with a whole new tag or team called the Shadowland. And the two new characters for Shadowland are Moon Knight and White Tiger. And then they reworked 3 existing characters, which is Daredevil, Elektra, and Night Nurse, and give him the Shadowland team. So this is the set of 5 that makes up that team. I think it's apparently a very iconic storyline from the comics, which I won't get into because I won't get anything right. But it's something with Daredevil and
White Tiger.
Yeah. So White Tiger and Moon Knight on paper look crazy. To make matters worse, they show us footage, right, of them beating the Black Order. Is that what I remember seeing?
I heard that. I haven't seen the footage.
Which, it's again a little bit, these are even powered generally. It's not punch ups like we're gonna do in real life, so it's a little deceiving. But what do you think? Is this gonna be the next bust like Pimtech or Skilletary, or is this gonna be a legit team like an X-Force that's actually very good at what they're supposed to do at war? I am so burnt by Skilletary that I'm probably gonna fly past these guys. I mean, I'm not investing in Night Nurse. Daredevil is okay, but Elektra, I don't have that too high. So this is another team destined for the parking lot until they can show me what they can really do. What do you think here?
Well, on top of that, just like Skilletary, the existing characters, to unlock the kit that you really have to have, they put yet more T4 ability upgrades that you have to do. And I just, we called this out. I'm trying to think of what team it was not that long ago, but certainly Skilletary and some others. So this is really disappointing. Maybe they are going to be this awesome, but my 4 yellow star versions of them are not going to beat a 700k Black Order. So thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to pass on these guys and just kind of wait. Maybe try my fortunes with the Astonishing X-Men.
Well, we're also going to be practically out of red stars, right? We've been going nuts opening red stars for the Astonishing X-Men, so we're going to be pretty low anyway, so we'll see.
Oh, that's right. We're in that point where we don't have any much left there, so we'll have to build up it. So I guess these guys will have to skip past. Watch them be the greatest.
Oh, greatest team ever. Yeah.
Yep. All right, and then I think this is the last item. No, next last. Nick Fury. Surprisingly, the one that's going to become permanent, going like Iron Man. So if you're, I think, say level 25 and above, you will see him as a permanent event. So that's cool. You don't have to wait for him to show up. He's still a good character. I mean, when he first came out, apparently he was everything, but he's nowhere near that, but still a useful character. And if it's always there, and you get lucky with some Kree drops, you can get him now at any point in time. And then after Jubilee, which is coming on next week, we will get the next legendary event to be Star-Lord. So we'll have to see what the dates look like when this is all said and done. I really thought Star-Lord was going to be the one going permanent. Didn't you?
Yeah, I did for a variety of reasons. One, his team has fallen off. He didn't get a Coulson or something like that for War. So I was also hoping for some sort of shield rework uh, related to the skill nodes for Doom War. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yep. So, lastly, we got the Year of the Ox, and there's a Lunar Festival event associated with this. And you can get some amount of T15 mats, probably a handful, if I had to guess, 1 or 2, maybe. One thing that caught my eye, though, is it said spend cores, which I don't think I've ever seen that in their copy before. Like, what do you mean spend cores? On what? So what do you think this is, Creative? Cores? What are we spending cores on?
I think this might be tied to the daily donation. We've had some weird events in the past where if you did a little extra, with cores, you would get more. I'm guessing that's it. I don't know. This is so weirdly written. I don't understand what the heck it was.
Yeah, like I've never seen them call out cores as being part of what you have to spend. Very strange.
Well,
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I've always said Scopely is hungry for your cores, man. They are going after them hard, Frid. So now they're just coming. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're just coming straight for it.
Do something to get them to finally spend them.
Yep. All right. Well, so we'll find out more about that. We can run some numbers. I'm going to go outside of the blog post and talk about Reddit and some other forums. And it seems like the blitz fatigue and the continual stressors have finally gotten to the community, and the avalanche of negativity kind of overflowed. And you can kind of hear it in our voices a little bit this week. And everybody and their brother was ranting on Reddit or posting videos. And I think we even had the OMG trash kind of stuff. So
it started piling on. Everybody was
so
upset.
it was quite the crescendo of voices crying out across Discord and the internet. I do think burnout is real. We've talked about that in the past, but the stressors continue to be the red star system, the lack of farmability of characters, no let up on low quality time, and then just PvP being a dud. And there's even more, but there was a couple good posts out there that kind of summed it up. Again, we've covered a lot of this stuff before. One thing that I will kind of call it, so Frid always talks about his red stars, and very rarely will I talk about it because he'll even joke, Creative's favorite thing, the red stars, and most people don't get that joke. It's literally because I hate red stars, but to me that's still one of the worst mechanics of the game. It needs a massive work. And at this stage, we've had it for so long, you can't just take it away, right? And then you just can't pour tons of promotion credits on everyone because everybody will have 7, red star full black order or something. So, they've created this bad situation that just they've compounded. Now throwing out the Doom War where you're saying you have to have 6+ red stars on your characters. It's just getting kind of ridiculous. So much content is behind at least 4 red stars or 5 red stars, and it's complete RNG.
Oh, there was one too with the Jubilee event that talked about requiring, what was it, 4?
Yeah.
So they were saying, okay, so basically you're saying 3 and less is baseline, effectively. Yep. And if you have less than that, it's basically irrelevant. And if you're talking about content that requires 6, like who has these characters at 6? It's
Agreed.
Crazy.
Yeah, so, to the community, I would say, what the hell took you so long? We've been talking about this for so long. We gave a horrible grade on the Red Star Band-Aid 3.0. We've talked about these things. So, there's a couple really good posts out there that garnered a lot of attention. One of them was Scopely losing touch with the player base, and then that person did another one about kind of solutions. There's talk of a spending boycott again. I've never played a video game where there's this much drama week to week, and we literally go through this crazy cycle every 4 to 6 months. Sorry. You think about it. We suspected this was going to happen at the end of the year because it happens at the end of every year. And then it happens again about 6 months later because they're not changing anything about some of those core mechanics. So I say it's about time that you have some real attention to this. I would love a real fix MSF movement, but I'm not spending on the game intentionally because I just think so many things are broken to me, and I'm just not going to spend anything on that. But I don't want to go too far down in the weeds and get too ranty. I do want to call out, though, that was some very good posts, well written. They did get the attention of the community managers. They said they're talking to the leadership. This feels like a lot of what happened last year, around this time where Fix MSF started and fizzled. But, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Frid, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, no, what I was going to say is that well done to the guy that did that post. I don't know that I have his name, but the one about losing touch, very well written. He said he buys every character, calls himself an above average spender. I would characterize it as a little bit more, but because that's a lot of money. So he deeply cares about the game, obviously, and supports it. And it's the reason why we all can play for people like him. But he took the time and it wasn't like a complaining or anything. It was very constructive, trying to, hey, here's what's going on. And we'll see if this is right about the time where they kind of send that, kind of look forward to the year. Yeah, the roadmap. Maybe they'll address some of that there, or maybe during a strike time. I don't know, but I do wish they do address it if they really meant it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, we've had Skilletary was a flop. Pimtech, nobody really liked them. PvP came out. I don't know many people or any people that really like it in its current form. And there was a great post from a guy that says, I was trying to explain PvP to my wife. She's like, wait, you're not playing it? No, I just put on auto. But don't you want to win? No, not really. I mean, it was just like, it was like a who's on first skit. It was well done. It is just such a weird mode.
So it doesn't matter if you win? No.
Shouldn't you care about winning? Well, sometimes. So you're not trying to win this time? No, not this time. Why are you mad? Because the guy's being annoying.
He's trying to
do this.
He's trying to kill me, and he should let us play so we can get our abilities.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't get it.
I'm gonna dig that up and post that in our Discord. I pull that up every couple of days and just laugh at it. But anyway, it will be very interesting to see where that goes. Copley, you're in the crosshairs. It's time for you to come out and communicate. Talked about how you're gonna do things better, and we'll just kind of see. So we eagerly anticipate and wait for next week. Typically, it takes them about 2 weeks to go through all their corporate malarkey to get things approved. So.
Malarkey.
I'm pulling out the weird words. So we'll see. I suspect, though, by the end of the Jubilee event that we'll see some sort of post. Whether it means anything or not, I don't know. Okay. And then to close out the news, and we are going a little long here, a bit of a sad note that, our alliance has been going strong for over 2 years. We've been part of the Ragnarok family. I think it was originally Infinite Darkness or something like that. But it appears after 2 years, our alliance may be disbanding. So, Frid, you were one of the early members. You got me in back in April of 2019. I mean, this is a time investment for sure.
It's a big project, right? I mean, we've been carrying and feeding this for over 2 years. We've seen a lot of people come and go. Right, we saw the rebranding, the cluster getting bigger. We've seen entire alliances disband before as well, and we were going strong.
Yep.
Why don't you describe a little bit of what you understand has happened?
Yeah, so I don't have all the details. I've kind of not intentionally not gotten in too much into the weeds, but there's several people that just they want to force everybody to do 12 attacks in war and think that they can win 20% punch ups every week or something. I don't know. They're just very war focused. They really like war. And if you find something in the game that you really like and you want to go all in it, fantastic. Find the joy in the game. So I don't really know their full motivations, don't really care. And we've talked about it from an alliance lead perspective. If a member is not fitting to what your alliance is trying to do, it's time for them to move on. And then vice versa. If you're a Alliance member and you want to go hard or you want to go casual and the Alliance is not doing that, it's time for you to move on and find a place that you fit in. I mean, it amazes to me. I've listened to a couple other podcasts. I forget the overachiever guys or whatever. They always ask their guests, "What's the thing you love most about the game?" And everybody says the community. And so the last few days, I've thought about, everything revolves around an alliance. So if you're not in a good alliance, the game it doesn't feel very good, right? If you're in a great alliance, the game is so much more fun. It's people you interact with and all that kind of stuff. But it is amazing how much of the game revolves around the alliance and how little the game helps us really coordinate that. And we talked about that previous week. So, for any of the those folks that are departing, we wish you success, and we hope you find what you're looking for. And since you're war focused, you should definitely whale out on the Skilletary team. They're fantastic. Go all out on them.
That's what you need to do. Exactly.
Absolutely. Go all out on the Skilletary team. So Frid and I will talk next week about where we land. We've already got a couple things lined up, and we'll talk through that. But
yeah, you were kind of describing it earlier as what is it, the end of school or the end of the project?
Yes. It felt like, we're on these big projects right out of college with all these people, and the project ends and you're just not there anymore. For younger people, the end of the school year, it felt kind of like that, all of a sudden, that loss in a sense. So
yeah. There's a little bit of that now. I would say our core people are like the 6 of us that have been kind of from the very beginning, but then there's another probably 6 that have been or more.
Yeah, I mean, half our alliance we've had for over a year.
Yeah, they're not like original guys, but they're and it's just a set of newer members that have that war focus and really want to push on it. And again, we wish them the best, and it's just very hard to try to recover from a loss of too many members at once, right? If they coordinate their departures without us, just basically they're all going together somewhere, that would leave us in a place where we can't recover. So we will try to find good homes for our veterans, and maybe we'll merge with something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll report back on the outcome, because I think it's important as part of alliance management, and this is part of it, right? Some
absolutely
dissolve, some merge, some disband altogether. But yeah, we would hate to see some of these veterans not play the game or lose touch with us because of this. So we'll try to make something happen, and we'll keep you guys posted on it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of alliances are dealing with this. I mean, we went and looked out on Discord and Reddit, and I mean, there's post after post of, hey, let's merge, because they had the same problem. We've seen a lot of turnover in the game and all that. So we'll definitely talk about that one. And then to close out the show, let's stay on the topic of Alliance War. And so over the summer, we talked about the consistent tactic that we were seeing. We call it the heavy defense or something like that, where they install ridiculous defensive teams just to kind of wear you down and hope that they have just enough offense to get through. Well, maybe it's because we've switched war zones or time zones, but we were still seeing it before that. The new tactic is to go and find a bunch of 13 million, 14 million, 15 million players and put them in the armory, the barracks, security, and engineering, just kind of park them there and hope that your opponent, dies a bloody death trying to get through that room. But I mean, Frid, what is it? So we've been in this new time zone for maybe about 2 weeks. We've seen more 13 million, 14 million, 15 million players in these 2 weeks than we have seen for the previous 6 months. I mean, it is just crazy.
Yeah, this zone is a different animal. There's a lot of competition here. And what does that mean? It's either a year 1, year 0 player
or whale.
Super whale. Because, I mean, I think whale is even required, because even if you were year 1, there wasn't that much out there, right? So it's not like you could build so much like a what is this 4 million, 5 million advantage over you and me.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can do that just because of time. I think there's some heavy duty whaling involved on these high collection powers. So yeah, we don't have that. So it's gonna be a little bit of an uphill battle this time zone. But
Yep. So
do you think the strategy is related to the algorithm when you have
absolutely
two giant people and then smaller people, and somehow that tricks the whole matchmaking system?
Now, so we've seen reworks of the algorithm at least 2 or 3 times, and so we had figured out the algorithm was really looking at total collection power of the alliance. It did not look at the average, the mean, the median. It was looking at the total collection power of the alliance, and so we will see that they throw in a couple 7 million or 8 million players to make it look like they're more of a a 10 million collection power average kind of thing. So. But I'm still nearly convinced the algorithm is looking only at total collection power for the alliance. And then certainly, I don't know if it still does all the stuff that it used to, but you notice after you've gotten about 2 or 3 wins in a row, next thing you know, you got a really big opponent. So, yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, we thought we'd share that, more of a whining than necessarily a tactic
the
or anything.
Lamentations of war.
Yeah. So anybody in the 13 to 15 million range who wants to come sit in our armory for us, let us know. Anyway, we thought we'd share that. We probably were a little...
I've been doing that valiantly for the last I don't know how many months, trying to hold into that
Hold the
armory.
line. Hold the door.
Yeah, I know. I did have a funny story in one of these alliances. They grinded, I think it was 8 teams on my Doc Ock. He's tier 15, 6 red star. It's so bad. They kept sending things in and they just could not get through him. Combat canceled. Some died. It was pretty fun to see. So a lot of DVs there.
That's what I was... okay, so we've gone over our time here, but I did want to talk a little about this really, really quick. I don't think the problem is the Skilletary team. I don't think the problem is the Shadowland team. I don't think the problem is the Pimtech team. I think the problem is these war buffs and their OP characters that you throw ISO 8 on top of them. And that's why I think the Black Order is going to be so hard to counter. That's why Emma is so hard to counter. That's why the Mercs are so hard to counter, is that they're so darn fast. They've got all these crazy war buffs or mechanics that you have to come up with even more ridiculous things for an attacking team to work around it. So the whole Doc Ock thing is just unbelievably crazy as well.
Yep. I hate trying to go against him, It's a pain.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and I did see some videos. I pinged you about that, like regular power armor punching across and a couple interesting teams in there. So we'll start looking at some of those, but Doc Ock is everywhere, and he is a turd.
It's so painful.
Yeah. All right, well, we've gone on quite a bit here. Hopefully we weren't too salty, too caught up in the moment there, but we really do hope that we see some positivity. We see some good posts from Scopely about addressing some of these key mechanics that are very, very frustrating. You can continue the conversation by joining us on Discord. We're part of the Ragnarok Alliance family, and we always put that in the show notes, the Discord link. You can also give us a Apple 5-star review or whatever number you want to give, and if it's a good one, we'll review it and talk about it on the air. You can send us an email. You can send us a Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on Podbean and all your favorite podcast apps. So it's a crazy world out there, everybody. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Talk next week.